are fake polls and fake polling led by MAGA-dominated, Republican-dominated polling sites being used to try to interfere with the election results and set the groundwork for Donald Trump and the Republicans to contest the election? I'm Michael Popok. This is Legal AF and the MeidasTouch Network. Polling is back in the news for all the wrong reasons. And traditional pollsters are looking at the numbers and they believe there is something afoot, that something is rotten about the polls, and they're being used to influence and suppress the vote and influence its outcomes. Let me give you an example. In the last, the only polling entities out there that are doing battleground polling this late in the game and have been doing it for the last several weeks are dominated by Republican partisan polling companies, not the classic nonpartisan ones that had been around before. In fact, those nonpartisan polling companies have basically abdicated their responsibility to do polling, leaving to the vacuum the partisan pollsters. So as a result, in 37 of the last polls in the battleground states, it now shows Trump leading in 30 out of 37 of those polls, which gives the impression that Kamala Harris may lose the election. It does two things to have fake polling. One, it suppresses the vote. It makes people less enthusiastic potentially about voting because they think their person is going to lose. It's a little counterintuitive. You would think that would make them more motivated, but studies have shown that that can have a suppressing impact on people's exercise of their right to vote. That's one. And secondly, it gives Donald Trump and his lawyers the ability to say, how did we lose the election if they inevitably lose? By saying we were ahead in every poll in every state by every measure. How did we lose? There must have been a stolen election. And they're going to use that as a bulwark, as leverage for their arguments in court. So it's serving two purposes. And the Republicans in MAGA and their pollsters have gotten the message. The message is to play around with the statisticals and the algorithm and the statistics of it and come up with ways to have improbable polling. That's what we're seeing right now. Traditional pollsters and statisticians have taken a look at the polls currently, and they said it's a statistical anomaly that isn't possible. Yes, we understand they're claiming it's a close election, although I don't think it is. I think Kamala Harris will win this running away. But the fact that it's this close in so many states within a point or less everywhere, but yet Donald Trump is ahead in every one of those polls is a statistical impossibility if they're doing their job right. Unless their job is to try to interfere with the election and give Donald Trump's lawyers something to talk about in a lawsuit. And that's what the New York Times and the Guardian have come out to talk about. Now, there's a couple of reasons we have the fake polls going on right now. As I said earlier, traditional nonpartisan pollsters have gotten out of the business of polling, and they're not even polling this late in the game, leaving to MAGA, right, to do the devil's plaything, to F with the polls. That's why in every nonpartisan poll, Kamala Harris is ahead in the battleground states by 1 or 2 or 3 points. But in every amalgamation of all the polls, including these heavily weighted MAGA Republican partisan polls, she's behind in every state. And then I haven't even talked about Polymarket, which is being used on Wall Street as a trading platform where Wall Street, where you get to buy and sell whether you think Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is going to win on an exchange, on effectively a stock exchange. And right now, Polymarket, based on who's buying and who's selling, who's shorting and who's going long, thinks that there's a 67% chance that Donald Trump is going to win. But Polymarket is filled with fraud. Because there's been an analysis that there's a lot of wash trading going on. There's a lot of people that are buying Kamala Harris short and selling her long and manipulating the vote totals in order to have a Donald Trump win. For all we know, foreign adversaries, foreign enemies are helping to manipulate Polymarket to make it look like Donald Trump is way ahead. Again, when it is a deflation. It's a deflator. when you think your candidate is going to lose. That's why you hear, in conjunction with the phony polling that's being reported by mainstream media as real, combined with Polymarket, which is being manipulated to give Donald Trump the lead so that Donald Trump and all MAGA can say, we're going to win, we're up by 3, we're up by 4, we're up by 5 points, when in reality they're down by 1 or 2 or 3 points where it matters in all the battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And when Kamala Harris pulls it off, not by a little, but I think by a lot, because I don't think the polls are accurate. I think this is fraudulent manipulation of the polls and of the market to give Donald Trump a win, both by enemies, foreign and domestic, and by people who want to suppress the vote and depress you from going and voting. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Support for today's episode comes from iHerb. iHerb offers the best curated selection of wellness products at the best possible value across a variety of categories, such as supplements, sports nutrition, groceries, and beauty. This is your one-stop shop for all your health and wellness needs. They care what's actually inside every bottle that may make up your morning, self-care, or cool-down routines and more. They test and verify to ensure that what you find in every bottle is what's supposed to be there. Their site is super easy to navigate. You can search by category, brand, or ailments you want help with, like circulatory support or digestive support. And then you can further narrow your search by ratings, price, or diet, like vegan or vegetarian. They've really thought of everything to make shopping for these products convenient and easy. iHerb's natural products have become my go-to in my gym bag. My latest find on their website, the Mild by Nature Thickening Shampoo with B-complex and biotin. Just after a hard run and then a steam, using this amazing shampoo is a great way to start my day feeling refreshed and like I did something to give my hair a little TLC. iHerb offers over 50,000 products in a variety of categories, including beauty and bath, baby, and pets. You can trust your products will arrive in first-rate condition because iHerb orders are shipped from climate-controlled fulfillment centers in the U.S. to ensure the quality of their products. And they ship to over 180 countries. Products available at iHerb are sourced directly from the brands or authorized distributors in the U.S. There are no third-party sellers. This is so important when there are companies out there selling fake products and you have no idea what ingredients are in them. iHerb does not allow third-party resellers on its website or mobile apps. You get free shipping in the USA on purchases over $30, and they offer 24/7 customer support if you have questions about your order. Our listeners get 22% off their first order when you use code LEGALAF at iHerb.com/shop/legalaf. Existing customers receive 15% off. That's 22% off your first order at iHerb.com/shop/legalaf and use promo code LEGALAF. Choose iHerb because wellness matters. As I said, it also is the byproduct of giving them something to talk about in MAGA world when the inevitable lawsuits, some of which have already been filed, get brought up when Donald Trump doesn't go quietly into the night after losing and a crushing defeat. I'll make it clear. Anyone who is independent, who is a statistician and a pollster, who's looked at the polling in the last several months since Kamala Harris has gotten in the race, has questioned the veracity of those polls. And the fact that statistically it is impossible for the results to be what they claim to be, state by state, moment by moment, always putting Donald Trump into the lead. It's impossible. And that is being used as a weapon. Polling has now been weaponized by MAGA, and we can't stand for it. There's a way to beat it. The only poll that matters is the poll that you go to on election day, or unless you early voted already, like I did. That poll matters. Crush the fake polls. Crush the Polymarket manipulation that's showing Donald Trump in the lead. Vote. Not more than once, but definitely vote in the right precinct, having been properly registered. And if you do that, in the numbers that we expect, in the groundswell that's going to open, in the dam that's going to burst in support for Kamala Harris, we're going to win on the other side of Tuesday. But the phony polling is a problem, something the Department of Justice should look into. That's why you see right-wing MAGA QAnon bloggers and podcasters like Jack Prosopiak, who was featured at the Madison Square Garden event, sending out phony social media posts to put them out into the universe that Joe Biden thinks is going to be a crushing defeat for Kamala Harris and she's a sucker and a loser. He actually wrote that. Okay. None of that is going to happen. Forget the polls, except for the legitimate, nonpartisan ones that show that Kamala Harris is ahead every place where it matters. And reject these other polls. That's why MAGA is going to be so shocked when they wake up on Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, we were up by 7 or 8 points. How did that happen? Polymarket's at 67%. I've been disappointed by polls. Nate Silver, 528. Deceit broke my heart in Hillary Clinton. I woke up the morning on 2016 to vote, the day of the election for the 2016 election. And I saw in the morning, I had a big bounce in my step. Nate Silver, 528 pollster. He said it was a 90% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. How'd that work out? So I got my own thing about polls. So forget polls, 67% here and this and that. All right. It's all up to you. Don't let them weaponize polling. Don't let them use it against us in the lawsuits. We'll handle that part on Legal AF here on the MeidasTouch Network, where we call attention to the things at the intersection of law and politics that matter. On a podcast we call Legal AF. Now you know why. On Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we got a new channel in collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network. We call it Legal AF. Yep, that's what we came up with. It's every day. It's every day. I'm on there 4 or 5, 6 times a day. I got other contributors there as well from around the Meidas universe and new contributors you've never heard of, but you will appreciate their point of view at the intersection of law and politics. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.